You're live.
Oh, no. No, we want to put that. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. Put the mayor on. We don't need to see ourselves. There we go.
Okay. Am I ready to start? Can I start? Good evening, everyone. We are now live. This evening, Mayor Ostrander will be zooming in, so I will be chairing the meeting. And I'd like to call to order the meeting at 6:33 p.m. by recognizing the traditional keepers of this land and specifically our neighbors of the Alderville First Nation with a formal territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the municipality of Brighton is located on the Mississauga Anishinaabe territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga. The Council of the Municipality of Brighton respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain the responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Before I approve the agenda, we have an amendment. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Tadman and seconded by Councillor Bateman that council amend the April 19, 2022 planning meeting agenda to defer planning report 6.1 to the May 9, 2022 meeting. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. And then I have a motion moved by Councillor LeBlanc and seconded by Councillor Rowley that council approve the May 19, 2022 planning meeting agenda as presented. All those in favor?
I didn't have anything to say.
He can remain muted until he needs to speak, right? Okay. Or we can keep him muted tonight. Just kidding. Okay, all those in favor? Sorry, I didn't see. Carried. Okay, any declarations of pecuniary interest from anybody? None. And so now we're going to move into the statutory public meeting, and I have a motion. I think I have to read this first, sorry. I have to read the sorry. The municipality of Brighton takes steps beyond the requirements of the Planning Act to engage the community in land use planning initiatives. The municipality also holds a statutory public meeting on the planning application and then receive a staff report with recommendation on which council will make a decision after council has made our decision, any person or public body may appeal council's decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal, as long as they have an oral submission that has at this meeting or provided comments in writing to the clerk's office and request notice of the decision of the clerk's office. This is also true of any person or public body that wishes to participate in the appeal. For details or information on appealing decisions of council, please visit the municipal website or contact the clerk's office. So now I have a motion moved by Councillor Tadman, seconded by Councillor Bateman, that council move into the statutory public meeting, April 19th, 2022 at 6:36 p.m. All those in favor? That's carried. So this evening, we have a public meeting regarding consent and zoning bylaw amendment file number B01-2022, B02-2022, and Z02-2022. The purpose of the public meeting is to request a decision from council on the proposed consent and zoning bylaw amendment to the Municipality of Brighton Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 140-2020, sorry. It says 2002 as amended. Is that correct? It's supposed to be 2022? 2022 as amended. Mrs. Deck, by what method and on what date was notice of the consent and zoning bylaw amendment applications given?
Notice of the consent and zoning bylaw amendment application was sent by first-class mail on March 30th, 2022 to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property. Notice was also circulated to all the agencies as required under the Planning Act. In addition, a signed notice was also posted on the property.
Thank you. And Mrs. Deck, would you explain the purpose and reason for the proposed consent and zoning bylaw amendment?
The purpose of consent application B01-2022 is to sever a 0.49 acre portion, the northerly portion of the property located at the corner of Smith Street and Scriber Road that currently has no civic address, and add it to the property located at 464 Smith Street. This application will result in the benefiting parcel at 464 Smith Street having a total lot area of approximately 2.68 acres, with 45.72 meters of frontage on Scriver Road, with 60.96 meters of existing frontage on Smith Street. The purpose of consent application B02-2022 is to sever a 13.03 acre parcel from the northern portion of 476 Smith Street and join it with 464 Smith Street. Minor triangular remnants of parcels are to be merged with 464 Smith Street. This application will result in the benefiting parcel at 464 Smith Street having a total lot area of approximately 15.93 acres with 81.38 meters of frontage on Smith Street. This application will result in the remaining parcel at 476 Smith Street having a total remaining lot area of approximately 2.05 acres. The purpose of zoning bylaw amendment application Z02-2022 is to rezone the lot additions from consent applications B01-2022 and B02-2022 to ensure consistent zoning across all benefiting properties. In addition, the zoning bylaw amendment application will rezone the remainder of the property located at 476 Smith Street from the rural exception number 1 zone to the rural residential zone.
Thank you. Are there any persons present who have questions or comments regarding the proposed consent and zoning bylaw amendment? Do we have anyone zooming in for that? Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments regarding the proposed consent and zoning bylaw amendment from members of council? I don't see any. Mrs. Deck, do you have any final comments?
No, I do not.
Thank you. And does council wish to make a decision at this time on the consent and zoning bylaw amendment? Yes. Great. Now I have a 3-page motion to read. Okay, so I have a motion moved by Councillor Tadman and seconded by Councillor Bateman. That the council receives this staff report dated April 19, 2022 regarding consent application B01-2022 and B02-2022 and zoning bylaw amendment application Z02-2022, Raymond and Doreen VanEgmond, as prepared by the Planning and Development Department. And further, that council enacts a bylaw to rezone a portion of the lands to be added to 464 Smith Street from rural residential zone to rural residential exception zone, to rezone the retained lands at 476 Smith Street from rural exception number 1 zone to rural residential zone, and to rezone portions of the lands to be added to 464 Smith Street from 476 Smith Street from rural exception number 1 zone to rural residential zone. And further, that council grant provisional consent to application B01-2022 and B02-2022, subject to the following conditions. Each condition shall be fulfilled no later than 2 years from the date of the mailing of the decision. The application for zoning bylaw amendment Z02-2022 is finally approved. At the applicant's cost, sufficient land be conveyed by registered transfer to the municipality of Brighton along the frontage of both Scriver Road and Smith Road for widening of the road allowance to a minimum of 10 meters from the respective center lines, inclusive of any associated traveled areas, shoulders, or drainage works. At the applicant's cost, sufficient land be conveyed by registered transfer to the municipality of Brighton to establish a visibility triangle of 9 meters by 9 meters at the corner of Smith Street and Scriver Road. The conveyance referenced in condition 3C and 3D above shall be clear of any liens or encumbrances, wells, buildings, fence lines, hazard trees, or brush, all to the satisfaction of the manager of operations. That the applicant enter into an encroachment agreement with the municipality for the purpose of permitting the retaining wall and associated landscaping within the municipal road allowance at 464 Smith Street. Triangular remnants of land as shown on the attachment number 2, consent sketches number 1 and 2 to the staff report, April 19, 2022, be conveyed and consolidated in title to the satisfaction of the Director of Planning and be subject to conditions H, I, and J of this decision. Confirmation of the applicant's solicitor that the severed and benefited lands will merge on title. The solicitor for the applicant shall submit an undertaking to the municipality to the following effect. I hereby personally undertake to prepare and register an application to consolidate parcels of those lands being the severed lands herein and those lands being the benefiting lands herein, and provide the municipality the registered application to consolidate parcels as soon as possible after registration of the severance transfer and designation of the new PIN to the severed land. The subsections 3 and 5 of Section 50 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, shall apply to the subsequent conveyance or transaction involving the conveyed lands. All taxes on each of the lots be paid up to date prior to the issuance of a certificate of official. A digital copy of the registrable survey for the lots and appropriate deed/transfer be prepared and deposited with the municipal clerk. The OLS indicate in writing to the Department of Planning and Development that no encroachments of wells or septic systems will result in the lot addition conveyances. The surveyor, OLS, deposit with the municipality a geospatial data file of the surveyed parcel fabric, not the certified survey, but specific to the severed and retained lands submitted to the satisfaction of the municipality. The owner provide to the municipality a registrable description on a deed conveyed conveying and the severed lands for the use of the issuance of a certificate of official for consent and consent file number B01-2022 shall be completed and the transfer endorsed with the municipal office concurrently with that of the consent file number B02-2022. Any any comments or questions from council? I don't see any. So all those in favor? And that is carried. Yay. So I have a motion made by Councillor Bateman and seconded by Councillor Tadman that council move out of the statutory public meeting April 19, 2022 at 6:46 p.m. All those in favor? That's carried. Just where we are. And the next item, 6.1 is deferred. So we're on 6.2. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Rowley and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc that council receives this staff report regarding a public engagement strategy and proposed development at 114B Ontario Street. And further, the council directs staff to issue a notice of proposed development application, including virtual public open house details. Notice will be advertised in the Brighton Independent, on the municipal website, and provided by mail to all landowners within 120 meters of the property. A sign also will be posted on the subject lands. The cost of advertising the notice of pending development will be borne by the proponent. And further, that council directs planning staff to host a virtual community open house meeting prior to receiving a complete application for the purposes of providing the public with notice of the proposed development and obtaining public comments. Any comments or questions from staff or sorry, from council on that? Councillor Bateman, go ahead.
I was just going to ask for the planning department. I know the virtual public engagements have been well received, but there is an element missing for some that can't get on the internet. Is there a possibility that this can be held virtually and in person, utilizing the community center for those that can't navigate the internet?
To the deputy mayor, to the council, we'll talk to the applicant and see what we can arrange there. We need to get notice out fairly quickly to achieve our proposed date, but I think it might be a good idea if people are indicating that they're having difficulty getting online for the virtual versions.
Any other questions from council? None? We've been down this road a number of times, and I think it's a great idea that we do this and provide people more opportunity to ask questions when we have these sorts of developments. So if council is ready to vote, all those in favor? Thank you, and that's carried. So we're moving on to bylaws, 8.1. I have a motion moved by Councillor Rowley and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc that council gives a bylaw its first, second, and third reading and finally passes on this date, being a bylaw under the provisions of Section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, to amend the bylaw number 140-2002 as otherwise amended of the Corporation of the Municipality of Brighton as it applies to lands located at no civic address, 464 Smith Street and 476 Smith Street, described as Part Lot 28, Concession A, being Part 3 on Registered Plan 38R-3628, less Part 1 on Registered Plan 39R-6378, and part of Lot 28, Concession A, being Part 1 on Registered Plan 38R 3138 and Part 1 Unregistered Plan 38R-11430 and part of Lot 28 Concession A. Any comments or questions from council? None? All those in favor? That's carried. Next, we have question period. Anyone present that would like to, do we have a spot set up for that?
All of that was not attached to the agenda. Was loaded in the system. For some reason, it didn't go up to the next level to actually get into your package. So there's about that much more that's supposed to be attached to it.
Somewhat, but not. Give it a try, Brenda. We'll let you know if you're not loud enough. Yep. Those zooming in, can you hear Brenda? No, okay. Try now.
Yeah, what happens?
Musical chairs.
Hello?
That's better.
It's in regards to 114 Ontario Street. I know it's early in the game, but of course, you're going to hear it from a lot of people in regards to traffic. I was just wondering where we stand. Like, I know there'll be a traffic study. The application hasn't been approved, but at the previous council meetings, even Mr. Poole had was in agreement with the traffic study south of the tracks. And I'm just wondering if Mr. Walsh, if you have any ideas to where we stand on this traffic study south of the tracks, the calming measures on that motion that was put forward quite a while ago, if anything has been put in motion yet.
Mr. Walsh, are you able to answer that tonight?
So some better?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the old give it a kick and it works trick applies here. So yeah, so transportation is in the front of our minds, and so we're attacking it more than one front: the secondary plan plus the special study that the director of capital works and infrastructure has been initiating.
So we've heard a lot about traffic, and so clearly staff understand that and are working on a plan, not just with that subdivision, but understanding going forward that it is an issue. It's an important issue. So.
Just out of curiosity, Deputy Mayor, I had watched the police service boards, and you and the mayor had spoke to Officer Jeff Barton and asked for his assistance. Has he given any recommendations to anybody in regards to, like, he had mentioned stop signs and more stop signs and lowering the speed limits is doing nothing, which it isn't. So I'm just wondering if he's come across with any recommendations to you yet, or?
Well, he's not making recommendations to us directly as members of council. He will work with staff if when staff are working on the traffic study, that they will absolutely weigh in on it. That was his comment.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else present that has questions for citizens' comment or question period? Sorry. Okay, thank you. And we don't have an in-camera session. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Tadman and second by Councillor Bateman that council gives a bylaw its first, second, and third reading and finally passes on this date, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Corporation and Municipality of Brighton Council meeting held on April 19, 2022. All those in favor? Carried. And I have a motion moved by Councillor LeBlanc and second by Councillor Rowley that the April 19, 2022 planning meeting adjourn at 6:56 p.m. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much, everybody.